Gentlemen, welcome back to the Tiege Hanley Starting a Business Building Brand Vlog. This one, big number 377, and some action at the house. Little update, thought we'd start there. Super exciting. Friday, we're actually going to be pouring the slab for the house, and so I just want to show you some of the sexy rebar that happened. Oh yeah. So I was just excited. Something's actually happening. And so Friday we're actually pouring the slab. Then we've got a grade. Once the grading is done, which is going to require the weather to chill out, we have gotten more rain in January than literally I think ever in Georgia. And so it's super wet. We got to let it dry because we can't pour the slab for the actual garage or the back patio before we actually have it all graded, right? So we got to grade, backfill everything, pour the slab, and then we can start actually framing, because what Joel, my builder, was saying was you can't really start framing now without that done, because they're going to move really quick. And so once they start framing, it's going to be off to the races. It's going to take about 2 months to frame the house. Once it's framed, then windows and doors go in, and then literally we are cooking. But now, why don't we head back to the office and actually go over some of your amazing business questions. I also want to catch you up to speed. If you guys missed last vlog where we were actually in Chicago and the holiday party, it was epic, it was amazing, it was a great vlog. I would definitely go watch it, but I also want to talk a little bit about going to Chicago and talking to everybody and seeing everybody, because I've got some thoughts now a week later that I'd like to share. All right, so a few thoughts about my trip to Chicago. There's so much going on when I go to Chicago. It's very fast paced. I get in on a Wednesday evening, I have dinner with Rob and Kelly, and then it's all day on the next day. And then I get up super early and leave, right? And this is typically how I do the quarterly meetings. But there's so much to take in. And this was kind of a time where I really had the opportunity to meet a lot of the new people that I haven't met before that have been with Tiege Hanley. There have been people that have come and gone that I never have met since, I guess, the last time I was really in Chicago. But it was really it felt really good. And I think you could tell from the video of the party, everybody is hold on, FedEx, come on, brother, you're good. Anyway, I think you could tell that everybody was really feeling a sense of community and camaraderie, and it was really, yes, it was a work environment, but it was a very friendly, and it just felt good. And that was something that I was very happy came across, judging from the comments from last vlog. It was a lot of fun, and it was just really incredible to go and just be around everybody, even if it was for just a short time. It's funny because I own, a large percentage of this really great business. I really don't get to, experience it other than, on phone calls and meetings and stuff like that. But actually going and being there, it was a very proud moment for me, this trip. Proud to see what we've accomplished, proud to see where we're going, proud to see everybody really just meshing and melding as an incredible team. And so I've never been more bullish and excited about the future of Tiege Hanley. That's not to say, though, that we don't have a lot of things to figure out. There are still problems, of course, but it's exciting. It's exciting because we've really made some incredible progress. This last year was it was our best year in terms of our growth ever. And we're profitable again. And so things are looking really good. I think in the next 3 years, 3 years being the magic number, I think we're going to do some really great things and move it in an incredible direction. I just want to thank you for being a part of it, because literally without you, that business doesn't exist. It started right here. That business, what you saw, it all started because of this vlog. It started because we decided to reach out and kind of, build a community around this business that we were actually starting and this brand that we were trying to develop. And it started with you guys. And so for you guys out there that have ever tried Tiege Hanley, thank you. If you guys have ever wanted to try Tiege Hanley and haven't, thank you. Someday you will. And if you guys are still rocking and rolling with Tiege Hanley and you are handsome as hell, thank you. Now what I'd like to do is actually get to some of your I was about to make that smooth. Sorry. Anyway, I'm going to get to some of your business questions from 2 vlogs ago. If you have a business question down below, start it with business question and ask. Each week, we try to get to a few of them. This first business question comes from our friend, wait for it, Tony Thompson. What's up, Tony? Little knuckle bump for you. He says, how do I know when it's time to quit my 9-to-5 job and focus solely on my business? This is the $1 million question that a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with, right? Because the ideal situation and scenario is that you have a job, you start a side hustle or some type of small business, and the dream is to be able to go and quit your main job and make your side hustle your main hustle, right? That's what it was for me with videos and YouTube and image consulting. You know, when I started, you know, image consulting, I was still personal training, right? I was personal training on the side for like a few years after I closed my fitness center while I was doing the YouTube and while I was trying to like get things moving. And I remember the day, I remember the last session I trained actually, that I basically was like, you know what, this is it. I've got to focus more time on this business, and this personal training just isn't where my passion is, it's not where my heart is, and it's not where the money is. And so it was at the point though where I felt comfortable. You know, for me, I was always scared. I was always scared that, okay, well, what if something happens? What if I don't have this fallback? What happens if I go after this and, you know, catastrophe, because you know what I'm trying to say. What happens if something, like, what happens if something happens? You know, and I don't have that fallback or that job or that safety net. At some point, you've got to jump. Now, for me, it was when it made more sense and I was basically making more money than I was at my side hustle than I was my main hustle. Now, the one thing you have to understand is that when that time comes, you got to understand that you're going to lose the security of your job or that sure thing. But I would say when you're comfortable, when you have enough money in the bank that you can basically float yourself and your family for 3 to 6 months, I would say that is the point at which you should focus, but not before you actually have revenue coming in. And honestly, the revenue, in my opinion, should be higher than what you were making from your job. Because if not, it's going to be a lot of sleepless nights, honestly, because nothing will rob the joy or the fun out of a business like stress about money. And so if you can take that out of the equation to some degree, I think that's the time you jump. Crap, I forgot that I told you guys that I would tell you how I sell a lot of shit. Okay, so last vlog, 2 vlogs ago, there was a question about marketing, basically how to sell. And I have my own kind of philosophy around the sales process in terms of how to pitch, how to sell, and how to do that. And I said, hey, if you want me to talk about it, down below say, hey, tell me how to sell stuff. And so anyway, I'm going to punt this question until next week. So down in the comments, if you still want me to tell you and teach you the alpha sales strategy, down below say, yo, Alpha, teach us the alpha sales strategy. It's a very simple formula, but I've come to realize that I'm good at it. I'm great at it. There aren't many people that can sell better than me, in my opinion, when it comes to certain things. Anyway, if you want to know about it, down below, say, yo, Alpha, how do we sell stuff? Next question from Ken. What's up, Ken Hicks? I miss you. Are you still doing your podcast? No. The answer is no, I'm not. I wouldn't mind, but there's just a lot on my plate, which brings me to another question that has to do with Enemy. Somebody says, hey, since Enemy is gone, do you have more emotional or creative capital available? And where can you find a great pair of $100 sunglasses? So yes, I have a little bit of creative capital back, but the truth is that I wasn't investing all that much to begin with, but it does feel good that I'm done with Enemy. And I haven't regretted it for a second. A lot of people have been reaching out to me about, hey, will you sell the domain? And I've been like, you know what, why am I keeping it? But I always am just like, hey, what's the number? What do you want to buy it for? And people are like, $10,000. I'm like, I paid 50. And then you're like, oh, well then, anyway. So I'd probably let the URL go if it was at the right price. I don't know what the right price is. But in terms of where to find good $100 sunglasses, let me think. I don't know. I've been out of the sunglass shopping business for a while. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not sure. If you guys have a good brand of sunglasses under $100 that you think is actually high quality, down below let me know, because the truth is that most sunglasses for under $100 do absolutely suck compared to Enemies. So I'm kind of a little bit jaded and biased, but I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. Next business question says, hey Alpha, hope you're doing well. Wondering if you have spoken with Graham Stephan. Given his expertise in real estate and this being a new type of investment property for you, it would be super valuable to hear the conversation you guys have together and the questions you'd ask. So yeah, this would be awesome. I have reached out to Graham before. He and I were about to do some type of like interview, collaboration type of thing, but it never ended up happening. I think this was like kind of like before COVID. But yeah, Grant's a very smart guy. Last vlog, or 2 vlogs ago, I talked a little bit about this idea that I was thinking about possibly investing in some apartment complexes, right? Looking at real estate in a different way. And so I started researching and watching a bunch of videos about Ken Mala. There were a few properties that I had called about, and then I actually called the banks. And I'm like, okay, so what does it look like in terms of interest rates now? And the interest rates are just so crazy, it doesn't make financial sense for me, the way that I wanted to do it. I didn't want to pay cash for everything like I normally did. I wanted to basically put 20% down and then use the bank's money and then, you know, do all that stuff, which is the smart way to do it. But right now, interest rates are so high, it doesn't work. I mean, I went to my one bank that I have a good relationship with, and I'm like, how much would it be if I wanted to borrow $1 million? And they're like, it'd be like 7.5%. I'm like, okay, well that interest rate is very high. And so I think right now the play is just to sit back, chill for a little bit, and then look for some distressed assets that are going to be coming up, and then probably paying cash for them. And so for now, right now, I'm kind of sitting on my cash. I'm also possibly thinking a little bit different and bigger in terms of real estate investment, in terms of development. You know, instead of buying an existing property, what would it look like if I actually bought land and then developed it myself with obviously, builder? Or is there an opportunity for me to invest with somebody else who's doing that? And so I'm looking at different ideas, different scenarios. It was interesting because my builder, he recently did a $9 million spec home. And so I know that I know what he had in the house. He bought basically a flip house, and it's in a really nice section of Atlanta. And so I didn't realize that he actually had an investor that basically partnered with him on that deal. And so it's kind of like I'm looking at things like that as opposed to me being like a landlord, because when you think about the amount of work, the amount of money, the amount of even with the management company involved, does it make sense for cash flow? Like if you make, for me, if I make an extra $10,000 a month, it's not going to change my life. And I know that that's not why you do it, and you do it for the long-term, hold, and but it's all interesting to me, and it's all something that I'm very excited about. And so I'm going to continue to do my research, my due diligence, and just figure out where maybe it makes sense to invest. What is the best investment bang for your buck, knowing that nothing is 100% certain. But real estate is something that I definitely want to get more involved in. And, and you never know. You never know. You never know. You never know. The next business question is interesting. It's from Jason Payne. What's up, brother? He says, hey, Alpha. With all of your success you've achieved, do you also believe that some of it is due to things like manifestation? Do you have a vision board? Do you believe in the law of attraction? I'm just trying to see if, other than just working hard, is there something that's missing as part of my journey that would help me achieve success? Thank you, sir. So yes, I do believe in manifestation. I do believe in, kind of like The Secret to some degree, putting it out there in the universe, and the power of positive thinking. I do believe in all of that stuff. But it needs to be combined with the other aspect, which is working hard, working smart, and staying away from people that are trying to steal your money. Okay, so I don't have a vision board or anything like that. I also don't make like a 5-year plan or sit down but I do believe in the whole idea of visualization, right? It's something that I used a lot when I was preparing for things like Shark Tank, right? The time that's probably the time that I used visualization the most, right? Because I wanted to kill it, because I knew that I wanted to really do a good job. When I would practice, I would literally try to make myself as nervous as possible. I would try to envision myself in the room, standing there, mouth dry, pitching, right? I would be doing it while I was running. I would be doing it everywhere. And every time I would do it, I would be in the tank. So by the time I actually went out there to pitch on Shark Tank, I'd already been in the room 27,000 times, because when you get out there, you know, your emotions, your endorphins, your anxiety, everything is like next level. And so the more autopilot you can be, the better. And so, yeah, for that, I use visualization a lot, but I do use that. It's not something where I think, okay, I'm going to visualize today, but, you know, putting it out there in the universe, you know, this building that I'm in, another example, you know, I always was running through Marietta. I saw this building and I'm like, damn, someday I'm going to have I didn't know what this building was when I first saw it. I'm like, I'm going to be there, whether or not it's a residence or an office. Like, I love that building. And I'm here. I own 2 units. I had a third. You know, so it's like one of those things where if there's something that you want, yes, definitely, you know, put it out there in the universe. And yeah, I mean, it's interesting, but I would definitely say that I am a fan of manifestation, that, you know, what you put out there in the universe is going to come back to you. I'm also a big fan of karma. I think that, you know, the more good things you do, the more good things that will come back to you. And if you're a shitty person, shitty things are going to happen. That's my opinion anyway. Last business question is a great one from our friend Gary Hernandez, Self-Defense and Urban Survival. What's up, brother? He says, hey, Aaron, my question is, in 2023, what do you feel is the best form of advertising is for business in today's world? Advertising through television, social media platforms, and old flyers or the old flyer on windows, or simply just word of mouth. So I guess it depends on your business. In terms of the best is whatever works for you, right? And the best is whatever you can do and get a good CPA or return on your investment in terms of what you're spending. It depends on the business, honestly. You know, for Pete and Pedro, the best has been Amazon. Amazon advertising, because we're on Amazon, has been the best. Google has been amazing. You know, social media platforms, TikTok's been there are certain things that you can do, certain things that aren't real good and successful there. Facebook is still one of those things where it still works, but it's harder to track and it's more difficult. But that being said, what I would recommend is Google, right? Google advertising for a brick and mortar business in your area. If it is something that you're talking about, like a brick and mortar business, Google ads, I think, is amazing. But also, you know, word of mouth, incredible. Referrals from other people that are your customers, incredible. Like if you can figure out some type of referral program, incredible. Email list, incredible. But it really boils down to what type of business you are. But if you can figure out a way to advertise through Google, you know, you can target it. You can target it through Facebook as well, right? Geo-target it within a certain area is you know, the best way and the most effective use of dollars. I have a friend who has an acupuncture clinic, Nikki, one of my childhood best friends, in New Jersey, and he just recently started doing like some local television spots for his acupuncture studio or whatever you call them. And he's gotten a few clients off of it. It hasn't like crushed it, but it's more affordable than you may imagine. And that was something that I was basically, when I was talking to him, I'm like, how much is it? He's like, it's like X number of dollars per month. I'm like, really? That's it? And so possibly putting together some type of commercial and testing it, you know, for a month or 2 months. Flyers, yeah, you know, they're kind of tough. Coupon books, still kind of tough. Do people look at them? Yes, but I feel like it's digital, right? Digital is the way to be able to scale a lot easier than these other platforms, but it's definitely worth giving a shot and testing. You know, put a little money, see if you can figure it out, see what the CPA is, or the ROI, or not, you know what I'm trying to say, CPA, cost per acquisition. And, you know, just figure it out. It's trial and error for you and your business. And you're going to find 1 or 2 that are incredibly successful. Others, maybe not so much. But those are the ones that you get rid of. The other ones, you do a little bit more. Gentlemen, that's where I'm going to wrap things up. If you have a business question, down below, start with a business question. And also, if you want me to tell you how I sell so much shit, down below, say, yo, Alpha, how do you sell so much shit?